Hey, what's going on, everybody? Thank you all for joining me at this time. My name is Shavi Zane, and I'm coming on to bring a message for the chosen. If you find this resonates with you in any way, please be sure to like, subscribe, leave a comment below, and let us know how it resonates with your circumstance. So I'm going to be doing a general reading today. I want to start off by telling you all a short portion of a dream that I had. There was a lot more to it, but I'm not able to recollect all of it. So the part that I can recall is obviously the most important. And so in this dream, I was surrounded by a lot of young people. Young meaning like 19, maybe early 20s. For me, that's young, being in my late 30s. And so we all were outside doing this very tribal dance. We were dancing in water. And so I just remember the water was splashing all over the place. And like, it was really exciting, very high vibrational energy. And I remember telling one of the younger girls, like, okay, just make sure that you don't get distracted. Make sure that you don't get distracted. Stay focused. I kept trying to give her guidance on that. And then I woke up. So what I found to be interesting is that water dancing is a tribal dance. It's based on what I looked up. It's supposed to have began in Johannesburg, Africa. But for some reason, I feel like it is somewhat connected to the Native Americans. I would have to do some further research to see, but obviously it is also connected to those in Africa. And this dance is a tribute to those who were enslaved, who rebelled against slavery. And so it's pretty much symbolic of those who were jumping off of the slave ships in order to escape slavery. They rather see death than to be enslaved by someone. So really, based on that particular definition, I see it as being like the youth, the future generations, our generation and future generations that are rebelling against the captivity of the current system. The water dancing in a group just represented all of us coming together to say, we are rebelling. We are rebelling. We know who we are. We will not be enslaved. We will not be tied down. We will not be used or misused for anyone else's egotistical, purposes. Okay. And so this dance stood out to me a lot. And what really I thought about, and I was like, the only one who's really doing this dance now, and it wasn't like this in the dream. It was not similar to the dance that the young girl does, where she's like, can you blow my mind? It's not that. That one is a lot more, what we was doing, it was more tribal. It wasn't sexual. It wasn't sensual. It was, it felt like it was being done with purpose in the dream. But I guess that's the only thing that I can relate it to today. But as you can see in the current and the younger generation, it's a big song, right? It blew up. A lot of people started doing that particular dance. And she just so happens to be from Africa. I think she's from Africa. I'm not even sure. Is she from Africa? The young lady that did that? Let me know in the comments if she's from Africa, the one who did that song. Make Me Sweat, Make Me Holler. I don't even know if that's the name of it, but whatever. But either way, yes, this is a rebelling against the system. So I do want to see, what does that mean for the chosen? So I'm going to tap in. First, I want to start off with my Declare and Decree deck. If you find that this message resonates with you, please be sure to like and subscribe. And also email me if you want to order any of my decks, such as my Declare and Decree deck, okay? If you want to order my miniature altars so that you can get that alchemy going and connect them with your spiritual team. You can take this with you anywhere. If you want to order tarot lessons, tarot sessions, my hair body oils, my t-shirts. Don't catch these spiritual hands t-shirts. Okay. Whatever you want to order, check the description box for my email. So let's jump right into it. Whatever comes out of this deck, you want to write it down and burn it. Okay. This will be whatever blockages you may have at this time that needs to be cleared. So I'm just going to randomly pull some cards here. So this says, all thoughts, conditioning, and indoctrination that does not serve my highest good is now destroyed in spirit and in flesh. All thoughts, conditioning, and indoctrination that does not serve my highest good is now destroyed in spirit and in flesh, okay? Let's see what else. Put that on paper and burn it. Then we have here, all fear of the unknown, fear of new, and fear of a blank canvas is now destroyed from my energy and spirit and the flesh. This is my older deck, so you may not be able to see the letters as well on the camera. But if you can, screenshot that. All fear of the unknown, fear of new, and a blank canvas is now destroyed from my energy and spirit and in flesh. So I'm going to take one more. All illusions about who and what I am are now destroyed from my energy and spirit and in flesh. All illusions about who and what I am are now destroyed from my energy and spirit and in flesh. So there's a common theme here with two cards, because one of them is speaking on conditioning and indoctrination, while the other one speaks on illusions about who and what you are. So that conditioning and being indoctrinated to believe particular things can create illusions surrounding your identity and have you walking around thinking that you're one person or that you believe one way when you really don't. You've just been conditioned to think that. So you want to clear out all conditioning and indoctrination that does not serve your highest good, all illusions about who and what you are, and all fear of the unknown and fear of a blank canvas, which makes sense because once you purge the false narratives about who you are, then you come to the space where, okay, now it's this clean slate. Now it's a brand new start, but it can be scary presenting yourself to the world from this totally new angle. Like, people have never seen you that way before. They've never heard you express yourself in a particular way before. They've never seen you act in a particular way before. And so that can be scary, starting from a clean slate, because once you clear out indoctrination, it can also show you like, okay, no, you really don't like Western medicine. No, you really don't believe in the political system. No, you really don't believe in particular religious ideologies. And so when you start to come into remembrance of who you are and you realize that none of those things are a true representation of who you are, then now you have to come to a space in your life where you have to let those things go and start giving yourself permission to explore so that you can find out what you truly believe in and what's really in alignment with who you are. And so it can be scary. So that's why you want to clear out all fear of a blank canvas. So let's see. We're going to jump right into the reading. See what you need to know at this time, which makes sense because we're starting off with my dream. We're talking about enslavement, rebelling from enslavement. And so enslavement begins with the mind first. And so when you're clearing out indoctrination and illusions about who you are, that is the first part of enslavement. You know, when they wrote up that, when Willie Lynch did that letter and went out to Virginia to present that, he was very clear that the mind needed to be first. The mind needed to first be enslaved before they could do any physical captivity. They understood in order for it to have longevity and to last for future generations that they needed to enslave the mind. And so this begins with re-evaluating. See, this says innocence. So it goes back to your childhood. You know, it doesn't matter what age you are. This is giving you permission to go back into that innocence, go back into that childhood, start taking a look at how you view life. What were you taught? You know, even something that seems as simple as evaluating a grasshopper, or this might be it looks like a praying mantis. I was terrified of praying mantises when I was a little girl. When I lived in South Carolina, I came out on a porch. I was deep in the country, y'all. This thing, it seemed like, to me as a little girl, it seemed like it was humongous. And it probably was, because I know these things can get quite big depending on where you're at. And when I tell you, it was just sitting there on the porch, just looked like it was meditating. And I screamed and ran back in the house. But that was based on fears. You see what I'm saying? Indoctrination. It's crazy how a lot of times they'll have programs where they're trying to scare children into thinking that nature is dangerous. You know, oh, beware of nature. Spiders, they're poisonous, and snakes are out here that's poisonous, and bees can kill you. And so then it has you feeling like you don't want to be out in nature, because the moment you see something, you think it's going to take you up out of here. And it ain't no bigger than your fingernail, right? So innocence, going back into your innocence and reevaluating what you were taught to believe about even the most simplistic things, right? Let's see. So yet another card that has a child on it that says adventure. So this is you giving yourself permission to explore. And it's no coincidence that this card came out, because I was literally just talking about going out into nature and having this innate fear about what's out there because of what's been taught to you. But this is a child that's going out into nature, that's seeking adventure, seeking to explore, fearlessly exploring, okay? So let's see what else. So I have possibilities. So they want you to raise your vibration, see things from a higher perspective, okay? When you're in this ego position, flying as high as an eagle, you can see things from a different vantage point. And it gives you more clarity about the different possibilities and how things could truly unfold for you. And it shows you that there are infinite possibilities. You don't limit yourself when you're able to see things from a higher perspective. So I feel like you are being called to change the way that you look at things here. You also have the Lovers here. So the Lovers, let me clarify the Lovers, because sometimes, you know, I don't want it to go into a love reading. It doesn't have to be a love reading. The Lovers can just be coming into union with your own divine masculine and feminine and finding balance there. But let's see, what is the Lovers here? So the Lovers is clarified by guilt. Guilt. Okay, what is this guilt attached to? Y'all, these cards are just falling everywhere. So even just looking at this card before I pull another one to verify this, to clarify this one, we're looking at someone who has a lot of, it's like, it looks like demons that's scratching away at her mind, that's trying to, or clawing away at her mind, trying to influence her thoughts, bringing this low vibrational energy around her. Let me clarify, why is this coming out for the Lovers? Guilt connected to the Lovers. So this is flowering. So it does feel like there's something that's trying to, because this feels like it's personal. It doesn't feel like it's romantic at all. It feels like there is a certain entity that's obviously being directed from the powers that were, that wants to redirect your focus and keep you feeling guilty about something, or overthinking, or worried, or stressed out, or in fear, you know, anxiety, because it doesn't want to see you grow. It doesn't want to see you blossom into the true version of who you are. And what's interesting about what I was saying concerning the balance of your masculine and feminine, when I saw this Lovers card, is when this card comes out, she has black hair on this side, white hair on that side, which symbolizes the yin and yang energy, which is the balance of the divine masculine and feminine energy from within. But with the flowering, as you know, defining this card, is just showing that there is an energy that does not want to see you grow. It does not want to see you blossom. Yes, it does not want to see you rise into this higher level of consciousness, because there's a major shift that's happening. And so with everything that's going on right now, and you know, in the world, it can be a great distraction in terms of your growth if you let it. It depends on how you look at it. If you see it as, okay, all of these changes are happening, all of this chaos and, you know, disruption is taking place because there is a balancing of scales that's happening. Or if you see it from a perspective where it's like, okay, negative energy is being purged and positive energy is beginning to take over. And so because positive energy is taking over, then certain people, certain structures, certain belief systems can no longer stand. So you're going to see the breakdown of that energy. So there's a higher level of consciousness that you're rising into. Let me just see. I want to clarify what these low vibrational beings represent, okay? That could be a distraction, creating this energy of guilt, overthinking, stress, fear. What are these entities that's trying to distract the chosen? Through the mind, okay? Through the mind. So this says trust. Whatever these entities are, they don't look at that. The Rebel is at the bottom of the deck. This is interesting because they don't want you to trust the process. Whatever these entities are, they don't want you to surrender to the process and just know that you're fine. You are safe. It's safe for you to take that leap of faith into the unknown. It's safe for you to start brand new. It's safe for you to surrender to the changes that's taking place. It's safe for you to break that chain and to be that rebel. Now, this takes me straight back to my dream, which was the water dancing, which is also, you know, culturally defined as, you know, as a traditional dance to show the rebellion of enslaved people, okay, to show that, no, you know, they'll take
death would, you know, they'll take death in a sense where it's like they know that there is an afterlife, right? Knowing that this is not your only time here and it ain't your first time here. But those who were bold enough to say, I will rebel, you will not enslave me, you will not chain me down. Okay, and so dancing is also a symbol of celebration. And so if you are dancing, and they define this water dance as being a symbol of rebellion, of enslavement, then it's almost like saying you are celebrating death because you're dying for a worthy cause. So it is going into a space of saying you no longer fear death. So now I'm understanding that with this energy, they want you to fear death. They want you to fear and to have anxiety and thinking that something tragic will happen to you if you rebel against the so-called religious structure, the political structure, the the spiritual structure. If you rebel against anything that has been taught to you, the indoctrination of society, that somehow death will follow you. This is what they want you to believe, okay? This is what these entities want you to believe. Let me see. Transformation. See, this is the death card. Transformation is all about putting particular things to rest. This is about a death and a rebirth. You dying to the old version of yourself, but coming back far more powerful. If you can't see that there's a figure of, there's a face down there, that will be the old version. And this will be the new version that emerges after the death and the rebirth. So you understand on a higher level, when you see it from a higher perspective, you never die, okay? Your physical vessel does deteriorate, but your spirit never dies. It actually evolves when you cross over through a different energy, from a different frequency, from a higher vibration. So you come back far more powerful than you were when you left. And this is why they're all about capturing your soul in this lifetime. They're all about keeping you in a low vibrational space mentally, emotionally, and spiritually in this lifetime, because they recognize that if you cross over in a low vibrational state, the likelihood of you coming back in a low vibrational state is very high, meaning they'll be able to enslave you and continue this process over and over again, lifetime after lifetime, generation after generation. So it becomes this repeat cycle that is like, it's never ending. But when you cross over in a high vibrational frequency, you've already come into remembrance of who you are. You've stepped into your calling. You've broken the generational curses. You are no longer fearful. You are no longer tied down and bogged down mentally or spiritually. You have literally freed yourself and cut those anchors in the flesh, in the spirit, while you're here in the natural realm. When you cross over, you come back far more powerful in the 3D and in a spiritual realm than you were when you left. And that's scary for them, because the more people that's crossing over in that frequency, it automatically you building up a new kingdom with that. They can't tie you down. They can't mentally shackle you down, because you're coming in as a god. You're coming in as a goddess. Okay? Automatically remembering who you are. And so they cannot indoctrinate someone who has crossed over in a high vibrational frequency, because you come back far more powerful. And so this is why they know that they got to tread lightly with the chosen. They can't just take us up out of here on the frequency that we are in right now. They can't do it. If they take us up out of here in this high vibrational frequency, they can guarantee that when we come back in our next lifetime, automatically it's up. It's up for them. It's already up for them now, but they want us gone. You see what I'm saying? They don't want us here, but their main focus is to try to get your mind in a low vibrational state first, so that they can then try to enslave you all over again. But it's not going to happen. So just be cautious of your thoughts. If you find yourself overthinking, if you find certain fears trying to creep in, or thoughts, and it's like, where is this coming from? Why am I even thinking from this angle or this direction? Do some burning and releasing, do some clearing, do some grounding, get out into nature, talk to the Most High Mother and Father, speak to your spiritual team about purging that energy, and also showing you where it is coming from. That way you can call judgment on that energy, because this is definitely the objective right now. Now, this is actually making me this is making me want to tap into the powers that were. Okay, something told me that this message was going to go into that direction, but I definitely feel like we need to tap in because they are targeting your mind in hopes that they can enslave you or get you in a low vibrational enough state that if they wanted to try to take out the chosen in droves, they wouldn't be afraid to do it if we're all in a low vibrational energy. But we ain't going back. We're not going back to that. So because they recognize that we're not, it's that much more scary for these beings, because you take out a chosen that's in a high vibrational frequency, they are going to come back and, I mean, completely, just one or two, it's over with for the entire structure. Easily. Easily. Okay? Losing faith and ability to heal. See, they want you to lose your faith. They want you to lose your faith in your ability to heal yourself, your ability to heal yourself mentally, spiritually, physically. They want you to be in that energy of, you know, lacking hope, lacking trust, lacking faith, which makes sense because remember I told you what clarified the energies that's trying to block you. Okay, these low vibrational entities was the trust card. And I was telling you, it's all about surrendering. It's all about trusting and letting go and understanding that you are safe. You will not dash your toe. It's safe for you to take the leap of faith towards this brand new beginning. But these entities want you to lose faith. They want you to lose faith in your ability to heal and to become the better version of yourself. So they want to take you backwards. It's almost like they want you back in a space where you're looking at yourself like, well, am I really healed? Do I really know what I think I know? Like, they want you questioning everything about your journey at this point. And so this is where they're trying to bring in some form of guilt, fear, you know, anxiety. So pay attention to that. This says causing sexual involvement. What the hell? Hold on. So this says causing sexual involvement of minors. So this could also be some, I mean, obviously it's some sinister stuff that they're doing behind the scenes here to try and siphon the energy of children. This definitely sounds like a ritual that's being done at this very moment to create. It's like through that energy, they're able to create more of these entities, these low vibrational demons. Through that energy, they're able to conjure up more of these entities, and then they send them towards the chosen. I told y'all they're doing a lot of wicked things behind the scenes here. Let me take one more from this deck, and I'm going to use a different deck to see what are they up to. Revelation. Look at that. The bottom of the deck says death. Revelation, and then we have death at the bottom of the deck. So Revelations is definitely connected to the biblical text, Revelations. Let me see. I haven't read anything from the biblical text in a very long time. Maybe I can channel a message there just to see if there's something related here. Hold on one second, y'all. Okay, so as I was looking for my biblical text, I heard my spiritual team say read Revelations 11:13. Now, I have no idea what scripture that is, so I could have read it before, but I'm going to read it now just to see. That's what they told me. That's what I heard, so I always listen. So let me see. 11, Revelations. Hold on. Is there even a Revelations 11? Let me find out. Let me see. Revelations 11. I don't even know if it's 11 chapters there. So it might be the opposite. Let me see. Okay, Revelations 11, verse 13. Now, y'all know I don't interpret the biblical text the traditional way based on religious standards. But 11, let me see. I'm trying to find it. And of course, y'all add in. Tell me what you think about this particular passage being brought to my attention. So 11, verse 13. And the same hour were there a great earthquake, and the 10th part of the city fell. And in the earthquake were slain of men 7,000. And the remnant were affrighted and gave glory to the God of heaven. So Revelation 13 is specifically talking about an earthquake, a great earthquake, and the 10th part of the city fell. And in the earthquake were slain of men 7,000. So 7,000 people would die in the city due to a great earthquake. And the ones who did not die, the remnant, would be frightened and give glory to the Most High. Okay? So I don't know if this is saying that there may be, because remember, these two cards came out, bottom of the deck, Revelations and death. And in this scripture is literally talking about the death of 7,000 people in an earthquake, but that the remnants, which is definitely the chosen seed, would remain and give glory, give thanks to the Most High. Now, the part that says were affrighted is saying fearful. That's not the will of the Most High to be afraid. So remember, I was telling you that this energy is alluding to fear, okay? It's alluding to this energy of losing faith and hope in your ability to heal. So it could indicate that there are going to be some disruptions. There's going to be, you know, some things that shake things up. It doesn't have to be a physical earthquake. This could be something that, because it says it shook things up in the 10th part of a city. Now, a lot of times in a biblical text, especially in Revelations, is referencing Babylon, okay? Babylon. And so this shakeup doesn't have to be a physical earthquake. It could be, but it doesn't have to be. It can be the shaking up of a system, the shaking up of a structure, the shaking up of a so-called empire, where most people are going to be taken up out of here. And the ones who remain will be the chosen seed, but they want you to be afraid. But when you're giving thanks and praise to the Most High, you don't have to be afraid, because you know that the Most High got you. This is where you surrender to the changes that's happening and you trust the process. You trust that you're safe. You trust that you're protected. Okay? So 11 and 13, y'all read that. Let me know what you think about that. We're going to have to do some more dissecting of this biblical text as well. That's something that I am being drawn into doing in future messages. So y'all check in, because my spiritual team lets me know when it's time to do these types of things. Now, what I will do before we close out is I'm going to channel a message from the 48 Laws of Power, just to kind of close out and see how my dream of rebellion, of enslavement, and dancing, oh man, that's powerful, because even with my dream and going back to this Revelations text, it all makes sense. It all comes together, because the dream, again, the dance is symbolic of rebelling from enslavement, rather being in that position where you would celebrate death before you allow yourself to be under the captivity of wickedness. And so even with the earthquake, and it's saying, okay, there's a shaking up. There's many people that end up losing their life, but the remnant, they dance and they give thanks. They give glory. So to give glory, you can dance, you can sing, you can praise, you can, you know, meditate, whatever you do, as long as it's giving that high vibrational energy in honor of the Most High. Okay. So let's just channel a message from the 48 Laws of Power, just to pull this message together. I want to channel based on Revelations 11, verse 13. See if we can gather anything else concerning, because it was a very short verse. So I'm being drawn to page 286, Law 34. So it says, as an explorer, Columbus was mediocre at best. He knew less about the seas than the average sailor on his ships. Oh my goodness. Are we not talking about water here? Did we not start this message off talking about water and water dancing? Let me keep reading. So we're talking about Columbus and his thieving ass, okay? So it says he knew less about the sea than the average sailor on his ship. So in other words, he was ignorant to sailing on the sea. He knew nothing. Could never determine the latitude and longitude of his discoveries, mistook islands for vast continents, and treated his crew badly. So he didn't know how to navigate. He didn't know longitude from latitude. He didn't know north from south to east to west. He didn't even know where he was located and was completely defining particular bodies. You know, he was giving it this name and this land, that name. He didn't even know where the heck he was at. So again, you know, everything that they've taught you in history, you definitely want to question it, because they're already telling you that Columbus was stupid, pretty much, right? And he was ignorant and disrespectful. So then it says, but in one area he was a genius. He knew how to sell himself. How else to explain how the son of a cheese vendor, a low-level sea merchant, managed to ingratiate himself with the highest royal and aristocratic families, okay? So in other words, this peon, right, that's what they're saying, came from nothing, but he knew nothing. But what he did know was how to finesse people. He was good with charm. He was good with selling himself. So in other words, putting on a face, a mask, in order to appease others so that they would take him in or give him ranking, okay, or see him as being someone of importance or value, right? So it says Columbus had an amazing power to charm the nobility, and it all came from the way he carried himself. He projected a sense of confidence that was completely out of proportion to his means. Nor was his confidence the aggressive, ugly self-promotion of an upstart. It was a quiet and calm self-assurance. In fact, it was the same confidence usually shown by the nobility themselves. The powerful in the old-style aristocracies felt no need to prove or assert themselves. Being noble, they knew they always deserved more and asked for it. So in a subtle way, they showed their so-called nobility, right? They were egotistical, but they didn't put it out there in your face like, at least they claim, right? They could just be giving them, you know, accolades that they don't deserve. But this is what they're saying. So anyways, with Columbus, then they felt an instant affinity, for he carried himself just the way they did, elevated above the crowd, destined for greatness. Understand, it is within your power to set your own price. How you carry yourself reflects what you think of yourself. If you ask for little, shuffle your feet, and lower your head, people will assume this reflects your character. But this behavior is not you. It is only how you have chosen to present yourself to others. You can just as easily present the Columbus front, buoyancy, confidence, and the feeling that you were born to wear a crown. Now, obviously, the chosen seed, we do not say that we have a Columbus front, because Columbus could never, he could never be on the same frequency or even present himself. Even if he's mimicking royalty, he could never do it from the angle of a chosen seed, because it comes naturally for us. We don't need to present or put forth an act for anyone or anything. But this is showing you that there will be people who are going to put on a particular charm to try and present themselves as if there's something that they are not. And to the unaided eye, it can be very convincing. And you can end up allowing the wrong person to create history or to recreate history by pretending to be something or to know something, but they've just learned how to mimic the energy of the ones who naturally possess it. You see what I'm saying? Let me just read on and see, what is this trying to tell us here? It says you can easily present the Columbus front, buoyancy, confidence, and the feeling that you were born to wear a crown. So with all great deceivers, there is a noteworthy occurrence to which they owe their power. In the actual act of deception, they are overcome by belief in themselves. It is this which then speaks so miraculously and compelling to those around them. So in the process of acting like you are something that you are not, a person, I'm talking about the karmics, right? The powers that were, in the process of acting like there's something that they are not, they convince themselves this is actually the truth about who they are, even though they know, they subconsciously know, like, they complete opposite. They are scumbags, right? But because they spend so long acting a particular way, they start to believe that this is truly who they are. And so if a person believes that this is who they are and they present themselves a particular way, then you can convince the unaided eye or mind that you really are in that position of authority because you deserve to be there. You really do wear that crown because you deserve to have it. You really do sit in that royal palace because you deserve to be there, right? You really do possess the majority of wealth because you deserve to have it. Because they've practiced this act for so long, they've convinced themselves that this is their truth. And because they've convinced themselves that is true, then a lot of people who were asleep actually believed it, hook, line, and sinker, and therefore gave them that position of authority. But consider, if we're connecting this to Revelations 11:13, is saying that earthquake, that shakeup happens. So there's a dethroning that's taking place here. There's a shakeup that's happening in Babylon. And it's going to knock down those crowns. It's going to completely, the shakeup removes the smokescreen. The shakeup removes the falsehood, the layers, the costumes. All of that gets stripped from them and it leaves them bare. And what's left is death. Death. And the ones who are remaining are the ones who are truly the chosen seed. And the chosen seed do not give glory and honor to themselves when we overcome and when we watch their kingdom get overthrown. We don't give glory to ourselves. We give glory and honor to the Most High Mother and Father. But that's what's going to reveal who is real from the fake. That shaking up that's getting ready, that's currently happening. It's happening now. That shaking up that's currently happening is going to expose the false. And it's going to put them to death. Their entire structure, the lies, the falsehood, their authority, their power, their so-called history, all of that gets put to rest. Even they get put to rest. And the ones that remain are the ones that give honor to the Most High because we know who and where we came from. So that's my message for you all. I hope that this brought you some clarity. Look into water dancing. Maybe it's something you might consider doing. But let me know what you think about this between the dream, Revelations 13, and what this text is revealing when we tie all of that in together. I love you all. Like, subscribe, and I'll talk to y'all next time.